Level 0. Decontamination Zone. Welcome to the entrance of humanity's most expensive grave. This is the decontamination zone, sitting just 10-20 feet underground, which in nuclear war terms is basically standing outside with an umbrella. The armed guards here achieve their positions through essential skills, which is corporate speak for, you get to die first protecting rich people. Hell yeah. They've got high-end weapons, tactical gear, and the life expectancy of a mayfly. The 3-inch thick steel blast doors look impressive until you realize the guards are on the wrong side of them. These poor dudes are processing new arrivals through decontamination showers, doing medical screenings for radiation exposure, and turning away the desperate masses who didn't make the list. They're cooked. Daily life here is a nightmare of constant security patrols and checking people for radiation while absorbing radiation yourself. Personnel rotate in short shifts because even the bunker designers acknowledge this level is basically a death sentence with a paycheck. The guards are maintaining fortress-like entrance defenses against other humans trying to survive, which really sets the moral tone for this entire facility. You're literally fighting off other survivors so rich people can swim in their underground pools 14 floors down. But what happens in the next level? Level 1? Security. Command processing. One level down, and we've reached the middle management of the apocalypse. Imagine you're stuck with a 9 to 5 in the apocalypse. That's tragic. At 25-30 feet deep, Level 1 houses military command staff, intelligence officers, and security leadership who think they're running the show. These are high-ranking officials maintaining continuity of government operations, which is hilarious because the government they're continuing just failed to prevent nuclear war. They've got reinforced construction and blast-resistant design, which means they'll last just a bit longer than the door guards above them when things go wrong. Lucky them. The daily activities include coordinating external intelligence gathering, which means watching the surface world burn through cameras. They're managing bunker-wide security protocols, essentially deciding who gets shot for stealing an extra dinner roll. They process information from the outside world that increasingly just says, "still fucked," in various languages. Command staff work rotating shifts, monitoring global conditions that never improve and bunker status that slowly deteriorates. They successfully manage to maintain communication networks with other survival facilities, swapping recipes for rat stew or whatever. But no matter what, this is still a boring-ass level, and they only get more insane from here. Like the next one. Level 2. Essential Services. Utilities. Level 2 is where reality lives. The engineers and maintenance workers who actually keep everyone alive but somehow still rank below lawyers in this underground hell. Located 35-40 feet underground, this houses the people who actually matter for survival. Power plant operators, water treatment specialists, air filtration technicians. These workers are deemed critical for life support systems, yet they're living just 2 levels below the radioactive death zone. They've got multiple redundant power sources, including backup generators that they're constantly fixing because nobody thought to stockpile replacement parts for the apocalypse. Their daily routine is the only thing standing between the bunker and becoming a very expensive tomb. They maintain power generation systems that were designed for a 5-year lifespan, but need to last forever. They monitor air and water quality while breathing and drinking the worst quality available at their level. They perform routine mechanical maintenance with whatever tools survive, but sure, let's make sure they're living above the people who really need protection. Level 3. Medical Research Facilities. At 45-50 feet depth, we find doctors, nurses, laboratory technicians, and biological researchers working in sterile environments that are about as sterile as you can get when civilization has collapsed. They've got specialized medical equipment that requires parts and supplies that don't exist anymore, treating radiation sickness with whatever expired medications they stockpile. Daily activities include the heartbreaking task of treating radiation sickness in security personnel from level 0, while knowing they're sending them back to get more radiation. They conduct health screenings that basically amount to, "You're dying slower than expected. Congratulations." They're performing medical research on survival conditions, which is code for documenting how badly we've all fucked up. Managing pharmaceutical supplies means rationing antibiotics, while knowing the billionaires at level 12 are hoarding them for their personal use. They maintain medical records for all bunker residents, carefully documenting humanity's descent into madness. Level 4. Food Production. Storage. Welcome to Level 4, the food place. At 55-60 feet underground, agricultural specialists and food service workers maintain humanity's food supply while being treated like, well, food service workers. They're operating hydroponic farms farms with equipment held together by duct tape and prayers, growing tasteless vegetables under artificial lights that flicker because level 2 can't get proper replacement parts. The nutritionists here planned balanced meals for a 5-year stay, but are now stretching ingredients for year 6, 7, 8, turning every meal into mystery soup with a side of denial. The daily grind involves operating hydroponic systems. They manage food storage and preservation, watching supplies dwindle while knowing the ultra-wealthy levels have secret stashes. They prepare different meals for different facility levels. Slop for the workers, gourmet for the elite, because even in the apocalypse we need class distinction in our food, obviously. They maintain seed banks for future agriculture, pretending anyone will survive to plant them, while slowly realizing those heritage tomato seeds are the closest thing to hope they have left. Level 5. General Population Housing. Congratulations! You've reached the middle class of the bunker, where your engineering degree earned you the privilege of being slightly less likely to die than the farmer who feeds you. At 65-70 feet depth, we find engineers, teachers, administrators, and their families who secured spots through professional skills or moderate wealth, meaning they could afford the down payment on survival but not the premium package. They get family housing units, which sounds nice until you realize it's a concrete box where you get to watch your children slowly understand they're living in a tomb. They have communal areas and recreational facilities, because nothing says fun like playing ping pong while the world burns above you. Daily activities include the surreal normalcy of trying to maintain family life in a bunker. Parents work various bunker operations while pretending everything's fine for their kids. Children attend school, where teachers explain photosynthesis to kids who will never see the sun. They participate in educational programs about the old world, teaching history that ended with, "and then we all moved underground forever." Recreational activities include staring at concrete walls and pretending the recycled air doesn't taste like despair. They maintain social cohesiveness, which means not murdering each other over whose turn it is to clean the communal bathroom. Level 6. ESD, Skilled Workforce Housing. At 75-80 feet underground, mechanics, electricians, and computer specialists live in improved conditions, which means their concrete boxes have slightly better ventilation. These are the people with critical technical expertise, the ones who keep the bunker from becoming a very expensive casket. They have workshop areas and specialized equipment storage, which they guard with their lives because when that last drill bit breaks, everyone's screwed. Their daily routine involves fixing everything that constantly breaks in a bunker that was built by the lowest bidder. They perform specialized maintenance on systems designed for 5-year replacement cycles that need to last forever. They train others in critical skills, teaching accountants from level 7 how to hold a wrench because eventually all the real workers will be dead. They maintain technical infrastructure while knowing that one critical failure they can't fix means everyone dies, but hey, at least the lawyers below them have nicer beds. Though if you thought the levels were insane so far, they are about to get so much crazier. Level 7. Professional Class Quarters. At 85-90 feet depth, legal professionals, financial advisors, and business consultants live in enhanced comfort, having paid substantial but not elite-level wealth for the privilege of being useless underground. They have private quarters and professional meeting spaces where they can discuss quarterly projections for the quarter that will never come. These residents genuinely believe they're preserving civilizational knowledge by maintaining their PowerPoint skills while the world dies above. Daily activities include the absolutely absurd routine of maintaining professional services in a post-professional world. Lawyers draft contracts that have no legal standing because there's no legal system. Accountants balance books for businesses that evaporated in nuclear fire. Consultants create efficiency reports for bunker operations, suggesting synergies and leveraging core competencies while people are literally fighting over canned beans 6 levels up. They participate in governance structures, which means arguing about Robert's rules of order, while the electrician from level 6 keeps their lights on. Level 8. Upper Middle Class Sanctuary. Level 8. Upper Middle Class Sanctuary. Located 95-100 feet underground, successful entrepreneurs and senior executives enjoy luxury amenities and spacious accommodations, which is bunker speak for your prison cell has a window that shows a picture of the outside. These high-earning professionals thought they'd made it in life, only to discover they're still just premium coach in the apocalypse airplane. They have recreational facilities and premium services, maintaining the fiction that this is a temporary inconvenience rather than humanity's new permanent address. Their days are spent in governance committees, planning for economic reconstruction with the confidence of people who've never had their assumptions challenged by nuclear war. They engage in educational and cultural activities, hosting wine tastings with the 12 bottles they brought while pretending civilization isn't over. They maintain professional networks, exchanging business cards in a bunker because surely LinkedIn will be the first thing we rebuild. They focus on preserving cultural and economic knowledge, which means hoarding books about stuff that doesn't matter anymore, while the agriculture specialist at level 4 is the only one with actually useful information. The delusion at this level is almost charming. They still believe in their social position, still think their MBA matters, still assume they'll emerge to rebuild their companies. They don't realize they're just fancier prisoners in a fancier cell. Their upper-middle-class sanctuary is still a tomb, just with better thread count on the sheets they'll eventually use as bandages when medical supplies run out. Level 9. Millionaire Refuge. Finally, we've reached the millionaires at level 9, who spent their entire net worth to discover they're still not rich enough to matter. At 105-110 feet depth, multi-millionaires and tech entrepreneurs live in actual luxury, with private suites and gourmet dining. These are people who paid millions for their spots, thinking they were buying ultimate safety, only to realize there are still 3 levels below them with even richer assholes. They have exclusive amenities and high-end entertainment, watching their stock portfolios on screens while the companies ceased to exist years ago. Daily activities include the surreal exercise of planning for wealth preservation in a world without wealth. They participate in strategic planning for post-apocalyptic reconstruction, dividing up imaginary resources and claiming theoretical territories. They maintain business networks, having power lunches over the last of the caviar, while discussing leveraged buyouts of bunker levels that will never happen. They enjoy wellness facilities, doing yoga in a bunker, because maintaining flexibility is crucial when you're slowly going insane underground. Level 10. Ultra-Wealthy Sanctuary. At 115-120 feet underground, tech billionaires and hedge fund managers enjoy complete protection with ultra-luxury amenities. Private theaters screen movies about the world that no longer exists. Spas offer treatments for stress caused by being slightly less rich than the people below them. They invested tens of millions thinking they were buying supremacy, only to discover they're still 3 levels from the bottom. The personalized service they receive is from staff who secretly hope the ventilation fails on just this level. Their daily routine involves strategic planning for controlling post-apocalyptic society, not realizing the people below them are planning the same thing but with more resources. They manage vast wealth portfolios of companies that are now radioactive ash, refreshing screens showing numbers that represent nothing. They engage in exclusive social activities, hosting cocktail parties where they pretend not to notice their champagne supply is finite. They prepare to maintain their dominant social position in the rebuilt world, not understanding that the people below them have already decided they're expendable. Level 11. Billionaire Elite Compound. At 125-130 feet depth, the world's wealthiest billionaires live in private compounds with dedicated staff who hate them. Corporate oligarchs who paid hundreds of millions or billions for access maintain the fiction that they're still CEOs of something other than their own delusions. They have private elevators that only go down one more floor, done to remind them they're still not the most powerful. The exclusive dining and personalized medical care mean they'll live longer to suffer the psychological torture of being second place in the apocalypse hierarchy. Their days are spent planning the reconstruction of global society under their leadership, writing constitutions for nations that will never exist, appointing themselves kings of radioactive wastelands. They manage international business empires that are now just memories and ash, having board meetings about quarterly earnings in quarters that no longer exist. They prepare to establish themselves as feudal lords in the post-apocalyptic world, not realizing the people at level 12 have already decided they're the court jesters. Level 12. Supreme Elite Sanctuary. The deepest level, 135 plus feet underground, where the ultimate global elite live in conditions that approximate paradise, while humanity approximates extinction above them. This is the invitation-only level where entry costs billions and requires being part of the shadow oligarchy that actually runs the world. These are the people who control global finance, technology, and governance, the ones who probably caused the apocalypse in the first place through their greed and power games. They have completely self-sufficient ecosystems with unlimited resources, which is physically impossible, but they're rich enough to ignore physics. Private security forces protect them from the other 11 levels of people who'd love to eat them, literally and figuratively. Their daily activities involve exercising absolute control over bunker society while pretending they're not just the biggest rats in the sinking ship. They make decisions about resource allocation, determining who lives and dies based on spreadsheets and algorithms. They plan the new world order from their underground paradise, designing a future society where they're permanent god kings ruling over whoever's desperate enough to survive. They function as the shadow government of human survival, which is ironic since they're the ones who made survival necessary in the first place. The supreme irony of level 12 is that these ultimate elite have buried themselves deepest in the earth, literally and metaphorically. They've won the game of capitalism so thoroughly that they've earned the prize of living in the world's most expensive grave. They have unlimited luxury in a limited world, absolute power in an absolutely powerless situation. They're kings of a kingdom that's a concrete tomb, gods of a universe that's 135 feet underground. They've achieved the ultimate safety by becoming the most deeply buried humans in history. The entire bunker hierarchy is humanity's greatest achievement in missing the point. We've recreated all of our social inequalities underground, maintaining class structure while the world burns above. The security guard dying of radiation at level 0 is protecting the billionaire at level 12, who caused the war that created the radiation. The farmer growing food at level 4 is feeding the lawyer at level 7, who's drafting contracts for the new world that will never need contracts. If you enjoyed this video and want to see the most insane ways people are preparing for Doomsday, click the video on the screen.